It spent so much time just focusing on Orson Welles' face in the corner, and I just am gonna lose it. Hello friends, my name is Emily, I'm the Bi, and here is a book off of my bookshelf. So Patches and I are doing a couple of random book things while still being in self-isolation. Obviously we're still doing Backlist Book Club and filming and doing that the way we did it for Wilder Girls. And we're gonna do that again for What If It's Us, which we're reading during the month of April. But then we're also both doing reading vlogs, which is the thing I don't normally do, but Patches does occasionally. And so she talked me into doing it with our Book of the Month pick for April. So Patches and I both get Book of the Month just in general, and we looked at when they announced the April books at the end of March together, and we're kind of talking about them, and we were both interested in the same 2 books, so we each decided to get one, and then we would vlog our reading of that book, and then we would swap because, you know, and maybe we'll vlog it, maybe we'll just do a video at the end where we talk about both books, we're not sure. But this is going to be, to the best of my ability, me vlogging my reading experience of The Library of Legends by Janie Chang. Here's what I know about this book, which is shockingly little, but it was enough to deeply intrigue me. So Book of the Month, when they release, if you don't do any other research and you just look at what they give you, which is generally what I do, I don't know why I should not do that, but I do. And so they give you literally a sentence and then 4 kind of things about the book. So for Library of Legends by Janie Chang, here is what they said on the app. So this was all of the information I had going into selecting this book. Quick take. History sprinkled with magic. 2 students and a mythical being seek safety and love in this World War II saga set in China. And then the good to knows are it's supernatural, international, there's a love triangle, and a quest. Great, sounds good. I knew nothing else about it. So I'm gonna read the inside flap, give you my impressions of it, and then I'm gonna start reading it today. Also, it is 358 pages, but the font is kind of big, so stoked about that. Okay, so I'm really interested in this, which is good because I own it now. Having read the inner flap and getting a little bit more context for the actual story, stop focusing on Orson Welles, Jesus. The love triangle, I can't tell based on the summary if the love triangle is between the main character who's a girl and the guy and the girl, like if it's a bi love triangle or if it's that she's competing with the maid servant. Not really sure. I will find out. Hopefully it's clear. That would be great. But I'm extremely excited to read this. I haven't read that many World War II books in general or war books as a whole, but I especially haven't read any that aren't set in America or England, that aren't based on like white war or like the white side of war. So I'm excited to see what that's going to look like in this book. I'm also excited to see how the mythology and the magic is kind of injected into this adventure quest story. So very excited. I'm gonna start reading now. Ooh, there's a map. Sorry. My favorite piece of mythology, so I have 2, I've talked about this before, I have 2 favorite pieces of mythology. One of them is King Arthur and the other is Journey to the West, which is a Chinese story about the Monkey King and all of this other stuff, but I love Journey to the West so much. And this book, first of all, has a map, which is great, but then it's the Journey West, which I just have so many feelings. Is there gonna be Monkey King in this book? Because I will die of excitement. Good morning. It is Tuesday, April 14th. I didn't get crazy far in this. Didn't get quite as far as I wanted, but I have met, I think, all of the main characters. Some characters have revealed themselves to be mythological or magical in ways, and I love them. And while I don't think that I actually love any characters because the POV is kind of bouncy in a way that I think works, but in a way that hasn't fully engaged me into anybody. I am engaged, but not like in it to win it with anybody. So I'm finding this from a historical point of view extremely interesting. It's written sort of like it's its own kind of more modern myth, which I think is really working, but also because it's written like that, it kind of has like an interesting detached feeling that I'm hoping will reattach itself for me personally as I continue to read. I think it will, so I'm just kind of excited to see how, but the mythical kind of stuff I'm extra digging. It's extremely cool. So I'm gonna read some more of this today. I also need to read some more Cloud Atlas, which I'm reading for a buddy read with Megan, and it's good. It's just extremely dense. That bitch like 500 pages, and the first chunk was hard to get into for me personally, and Megan and I talked about it. But yeah, I need to read some more of that, and I need to do some more writing because I have a deadline in 2 days, and I know kind of how far I would like to get before I turn something in, so I need to work on that. I'm gonna play some more Animal Crossing, do probably some work that is unrelated to any of those things, including some editing, because in the middle of all this, a video is gonna come out. Every fucking time it just turns off mine. Jesus fucking Christ. Well, that's not gonna do anything. Excellent. Now all the lights are on. Today is the 16th of April, and I didn't really vlog at all yesterday because it was my birthday. Hello, I'm 28 now. Weird. And I didn't read until basically the end of the night when it was turning into the 16th. So there was really not a lot to vlog. I mean, there was stuff to vlog in terms of like, if you wanted life things. I mean, not really, but kind of. My roommate and I watched High School Musical 2 and 3 after we watched an episode of High School Musical, the series, which we are slowly watching together. We're not watching it separately, so like, it's taking some time. We're on episode 4. Well, we just watched episode 4. And then we watched the last 2 movies because she hadn't seen either of them in both a really long time or that often. And joke's on her, my favorite is the 3rd movie. I think an unpopular opinion, which I think is wild. It's a great fucking movie. Thanks. And then at some point, she made cheddar broccoli soup for my birthday, her and my boyfriend did, and we played Jackbox on Twitch with the usual crew of D&D people because normally we would play D&D on Wednesdays, but I was like, let's play Jackbox because it's the only video game / board game we can play not together. I actually think that's not true, but of the games that we play, it is true. So we had our DM hook up his OBS so that instead of recording the D&D screen, he was recording Jackbox. We all watched on Twitch, Skyped, and played on our phones. It was very fun. I did not win that many games. It's rude. All of that is to say that last night I read all the way to halfway, which I don't actually know how much that was from where I started at the beginning of the day, but I was just like, I'm so close to halfway, I'll just go there. So I am halfway through this book and I'm really fucking liking it a lot. I don't know where the plot of this is going necessarily in terms of like big overall plot, and everything's moving very quickly. Like the characters were in Wuhan for about a month and that consisted of like 3 chapters and then they moved on. And I was like, oh, okay. So I don't really know kind of what the overall plot of this is other than just like students traveling, although there has been a murder, so you know, communist stuff going on, World War II stuff going on, spy stuff maybe, plus magic. I don't know. So I don't really know how all of those things are going to add up together to make the overall plot, but I'm extremely interested in figuring that out. I really like Janie Chang's writing style, so that has been a really lovely part of the experience for sure. Good morning. It is Saturday, April 18th, and last night, I guess technically this morning because it was after midnight, but last night I finished reading Library of Legends by Jada Chang, and I liked this overall. I thought it was very good. I really like her writing style. I think that making it kind of feel like its own piece of mythology was like a good move. I don't know if that's kind of what her writing is like in general. If so, I might still enjoy it in other contexts, but I think it really works in particular for the story that she's telling. I did kind of think that this would end up being more like mystical. Like it's plenty mystical, but I thought it would be more so. It also is more of sort of a soft adventure story, and oh, the journey to the west thing isn't a thing. They also then journey back to the east and there's a section about it, which I'm not gonna lie is a little disappointing, but also like, it's fine. I was like, ugh, one of the few things I know about Chinese mythology, and then it doesn't appear, which is fine. There's lots of things in Chinese mythology. It doesn't have to be the one thing me as a white person knows. But the thought of it does make me want to go see if there's any good, like, non-manga retellings of Journey to the West. I'm sure that there are. Overall, I'm very happy that I read this. I think it's a really good look into what was kind of happening to a lot of people in a non-Western country during World War II, and kind of the side things that were happening from Axis powers to other countries that maybe weren't necessarily involved in what we as white Western people think of as the whole of World War II, but it was a world war for a reason, you know? I kept Snapchatting Megan and just being like, you know, I really like this book, but I truly have no idea what all of these things are going to add up to for the ending. And while I don't think that the ending is bad, I think it's maybe slightly anticlimactic. Just in terms of what I thought the story was going to be was more like dramatically adventurous, but it ended up just kind of being like essentially long road trip stories, which was fine and really good, but not quite what I was expecting when I went into the story. But overall, I really like it. I think it's a solid like 7 out of 10, so like a 3.5, but I'll probably end up rounding up to a 4 on Goodreads. I like this, and I think I might reread it at some point. Like, it's a book that I could see myself rereading. I think it's extremely well written, the characters are really interesting, the way the mythology is weaved in is extremely cool, and while I wish that there had been more of it, I'm pretty happy with what was involved and the choices that were made thereof. And that's it. That's Emily vlogs reading a book, a thing I don't do that often.